Well, morning guys. Well, this is one of those days you sort of kind of dread. So we've got an audience this morning. Look at that, the old kangaroo there, making the most of the water leak that we had. Anyway, back to what I was talking about. Yep, so we're leaving Seven Emu station this morning. Now, just some backstory. We had some issues with water. There's toilets, flushing toilets and showers here. When we got here, we didn't have any water. So we went back to the homestead and they got the boys to come down and pump the tank for us, which was fine. Anyway, it ran out yesterday morning. So after we'd done the cultural tour with Frank, I mentioned to him about the water and he's like, oh, probably shouldn't have gone through that much water. Anyway, what had actually happened is there was a pretty substantial leak at that union. So he came and grabbed me. We got some Stilsons and opened the pipe, opened the joint up, slid the pipe back in, cleaned the O-ring, put it all back together. Happy days. But I noticed last night they've got donkey heaters, so there's water pressure from these tanks feeding into those hot water donkeys. So there's a bit of a leak. So what we're going to do, given we're the only ones here, we're actually going to turn the water off so we don't waste it. I guess it's just coming out of the river, so it's probably not that much of an issue, but you know, you won't want to waste it, so we'll turn that off. Yeah, so the water's drained away from the hole where the water was, you could see, and obviously that's all nice and moist. So it's attracted some kangaroos and birds. What have we got? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wallabies, and there was a stack of birds sitting on it when we first pulled up. There you go. All right, well, we are going to make our way. We don't quite know where. Hell's Gate is obviously the first port of call, and then on towards the Gregory. Whether we make it to there tonight, I don't know. We'll just see how we go. But it is early. We've got up, we got up at daybreak, packed up. What is it? About 7 o'clock now. So we'll do our best, but there's no need to push it. Frank tells us the road's not in too bad a condition, but you know, we all know everybody's interpretation of rough roads is different. You know, yeah, it's just a moving scale depending on your comfort. So for him, it's probably good. For others, it's probably not so good. But anyway, we'll soon see. All right, well, we're heading off, and we'll catch you guys a little bit later down the road. Cheers. This part of the Savannah Way passes through many kilometres of unfenced properties, so a keen eye needs to be kept for roaming cattle as well as kangaroo. Well, this is where things started to go a bit pear-shaped. If you listen carefully, towards the end of the causeway, you can hear something jingling in the audio. And I'm telling you, it wasn't Christmas bells. So we moved off the causeway and found somewhere safe to pull over.
And that's what we have at the moment. It's broken.
Yeah, this is not good. The top shock absorber mount had parted company. We were lucky, as it must have only just happened, as the shock absorber was extremely hot and had not suffered any significant damage. So a quick call to my contacts, and new parts were ordered and would be sent to Townsville for us to pick up and install when we arrived there a week or so later. I suspect
You can just see where that has snapped off, and I'm going to show you with the other side what it should look like.
Okay, thank you. We'll speak in a couple of days. Okay, bye.
Talk to me.
Okay, so he's got an agent in Townsville, and he's actually got them there. So she's going to ship him up a replacement one, and when we get to Townsville, we just ring Tristan. He'll tell me where to go and collect it from.
Right.
In the meantime, the strap will stop the spring from coming out, but we're going to have to dawdle, so it's just easy peasy.
Right, so let your tyres down more.
I'm going to let those down a little bit more, yeah. Now, how would it tow with the left-hand side of the van with no shock absorber to control the spring? More on that later.
There's the toolbox and everything else that needs to be packed away. And there's the nut and bolts that we need to keep. We're just going to have a cup of tea now and just chill. Do it again? Yeah, and just soldier on. Drop a bit more air out of those trailer tyres and probably a little bit out of the back of the car too. Soften it up a little bit. Then it was back on the road again. It's not far to the Queensland border now. There you go, back into Queensland. Oops, there goes the UHF antenna. The UHF antenna left the vehicle like a ballerina leaving the stage. So we took the opportunity while stopped to check the van. At this stage, all was okay. So that'll be alright, I think. Bring the aerial up.
Lost my grub screw, so that shook out once, so we took it off because we got off the scrabble. Corrugated road. We did encounter some roadworks along the way, but it looks like they're preparing another section to be sealed. I started travelling slowly to start with and it felt okay, so we had increased our speed to 60 to 70 kilometres an hour. we are fast approaching the Hells Gate Roadhouse. The name of the roadhouse, Hells Gate, comes from the name of the small gap in the escarpment through which the road passes 1 kilometre south of the roadhouse. The name of the gap originated in the early days of the settlement of the Gulf, when police contingent, then based at Corinda on the Nicholson River, would escort settlers and travellers to the portals of Hells Gate. From that point onwards, they were on their own until they reached the safety of police protection at Katherine in the Northern Territory. When one considers that in those days travellers were on foot or at best mounted on horses, there were no four-wheel drives or two-way radios, and added to this, the lands were largely unexplored and considered very dangerous, it would have well seemed the gateway to hell.
Yeah, well, that's about the dearest that we've paid. But you got to have the shit, so it is what it is.
We also topped up with water and grabbed a couple of burgers and chips for lunch and had them in the Outback bar. Cattle, kangaroo, and now horses. What are we going to see next? We make the turn south at the Taroona Spring Roadhouse. The Gregory River borders the western edge of this community, and there are still signs of the last flood event that went through here earlier in the year. Finally, we turn right onto the Burke Development Road, with the Gregory well within our sights for tonight. Call it a bit of paranoia or a control freak, but I wanted to know how the van with its broken shock absorber would behave in the event of a couple of circumstances. A, under heavy braking, and B, if I needed to swerve suddenly. So with some clear road ahead and behind, we did some exercises, and I'm happy to report that it was both predictable and controllable under these conditions. Hopefully, I won't need to test it out for real. Well, we were comfortably able to sit between 90 and 100 k's, but to be fair, the sealed road was in pretty good nick as well. Whilst it was a long day, we made it to the Gregory. Although later than what we would have liked, we just did a minimal setup that night and then headed to the river. That's not good. Well, it looks like the shock absorber is not the only casualty of the corrugations. The wheel carrier wouldn't lock in. But after a couple of adjustments, we were good to go. Now to find ourselves a spot to set up for a few days.
The more you travel, the more you need to do some chores on your travels. We've been away from washing facilities now for nearly a week and a half, and I've got to do some undies and t-shirts, you know, the usual sort of things. So while you're out here in the bush, you need to protect the ecosystem that we have. I'm using some eucalyptus and lemon myrtle washing liquid. It's an eco-friendly one. We're parked by a river, and you do not want to have any of your laundry liquid, dishwashing liquid, grey water get into that. So I'll be washing with my scrubber bag, and you can see me doing that in a minute. And the water will be going far away from the river. So no contamination whatsoever. So the good thing about the scrubber bag is it's got a couple of levels, as you can see on the bag. Depends on how much you want to wash. It's got some little pimples on the inside, so that will get the dirt and all that worked out. So you wash it, you put some fresh water in, you rinse it, you put another lot of water in, rinse it, and then you can hang it out. And as you can see, I've done some washing already. This is my second load, just a couple of t-shirts that we need. Yep.
You can't have a good camp set up without good camp lights, and we love the versatility that this system gives us. So we can move from, you know, we set up for 3 or 4 days here, or if it's the side of the road, we can just clip on a light here, clip on a light there. Gives us all the light that we need to do what we need to do overnight. That light, that's the mood light. Then you've got the white light. Then you've got the anti-bug light, which is the orange light. Thanks Battery World for doing what you do so we can do what we do. Welcome to this week's episode of Cane Toad Hunter.
Got him?
Yeah, he's in the light.
Oh, I missed him.
I like the chicken.
You
What?
like the chicken, that one? Yeah, I can't see.
Yeah. Ready?
Yeah.
Well, this is it's just crazy. You know, we live in Brisbane now, and we see the cane toads in the garden, and we laugh and pick them up, toss them in the freezer, and then put them in the bin. But I've got to tell you guys, this is just an ecological disaster out here, because they're eating the bugs that all the native birds and the native insects. It's just crazy. Anyway, they need to pack their bags up and come in and have a look. We collected close to 100 cane toads over 3 nights, which cannot be good for the ecology. For those watching from overseas, cane toads were introduced into Australia in the 1930s to control a species of beetle that ate the sugarcane. Unfortunately, cane toads don't climb very well and couldn't reach the adult beetles, so they started to eat everything in their way, killing off native species along the way. Snakes, lizards, even freshwater crocodiles cannot distinguish between an edible frog, which is part of their natural diet, and the poisonous cane toad. How cool is this. We had a couple of guests come and visit us at breakfast time. These guys seemed on high alert, but found time to have a bit of a drink.
Morning, John.
Morning, Liz. How are you?
Good, thank you. Yourself?
Look, absolutely bloody fantastic. What a cracker of a spot we're in.
The Gregory River.
Yeah, it's just as we remembered it when we were here in 2018.
Yes, I think it was 18.
Yeah, I think it was 18. We stopped for a couple of days and we wished we could stay longer. Well, this time we can pretty well stay for a while anyway.
Yeah.
Guys, I just want to give you an update on the battery system that's in the vehicle. It was really worth spending that bit of time at Battery World with the boys because we've been parked sort of under the tree. I don't know, it's probably got 80% sun because it's a bit of a compromise. I guess you got the sun belting down. What is it now? It's 11 o'clock and it's 37 degrees. So the car's hot, the fridge has got to work harder. Or do you put it in a bit of shade so that, you know, the car's not as hot, so therefore the fridge is not going to work as hard, so therefore you're not going to draw as much current out of the battery. But yeah, so it's been sitting for 3 days.
Yes, 3 days it's been sitting. We've got a fridge freezer going in the back.
The fridge freezer's going in the back. We're charging drone batteries, we've been charging camera batteries, GoPro batteries, pretty well just rotating them through. And this morning we're heading into the Gregory just to have a little bit of a look around, and it was at 67%. So I don't reckon it's too bad. It's sort of 3 days. Vehicle hasn't gone anywhere. It's been relying on that 170 watt hardcore panel. It's been pumping power into the 240 amp hour battery. So I think the boys nailed it. I think what we ended up with is exactly what we sort of said. 3 to 4 days would be about the max that we'd ever be pulled up without at least driving the car.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm stoked.
Well, I reckon it would let us do more now.
Well, it would, yeah.
Because we've, you know, it's now been 3 days, and I reckon we could do a week with it, not going anywhere.
Not going anywhere. If we parked it in and got it in full sun, I reckon it would do the job well. As I said, we're going to pop into the Gregory, have a bit of a look around. We might even see if they've got any cold beer on tap. And yeah, well, I'll take a few pickies and things. It's pretty specky spot, I think. The old pub, there's something about them. And we'll catch you guys later. First things first, we need to dump some rubbish.
Going back to my old hometown.
We were really fortunate. The Berkshire actually have these bins at different locations. Now I'm not sure just where all the locations are. We passed one at the Leichhardt River. There was one there which we used, and this one here is at the Gregory. So you know, there's no need to throw your rubbish out or dig a hole and bury it, because strategically they've placed these things within the Shire. They're obviously emptied regularly because we've just arrived and we're the first contributor to this bin, and I think it was stacked up the other day when we came through. So good on you, Berkshire.
Going back to my old hometown, picking up the years I leave behind, getting in my car.
She is lunch at the Gregory.
Fly by. Driving by the fields I used to run through, where you were chasing me.
Rubbish emptied and lunch done, it was time to head back to camp.
Just when no one could see. Oh,
Not a bad way to spend the afternoon.
of a town I loved, but oh, changed when you left. I keep on asking myself in my to try to settle my restless soul. Got a job that felt like forever.
We set the hammock up for a few days. These things are easy to get into, but can be a challenge to dismount.
That's how you do it.
So here I am going down to a little pond where I've been watching the finches bathe. So I'm going to go down. I've got my 70 to 200 Canon 2.8 camera with me, and I'm going to see if I can get some great shots. So let's see what we can do, eh? It's late afternoon, and let's see if they're there. And where are we? Yep, this is the spot they were yesterday. Might be still too early in the afternoon. Let's see what we can do.
Sweet memories of a town I love, but oh, changed when you left. I keep on asking myself in my mind, were you the one that got away? Went for the dream, but I got lost. This house I leave is nothing like us. Chased happiness, ended up on a one-way street. We're leading nowhere. That's why I leave.
So what's for dinner tonight?
Past the creek where
We didn't show all the prep, but we're having Mexican chicken. Cast your eyes upon this. Smells absolutely yummy, and I'm sure it will be. So we're just going to set ourselves up and crack into this, and then watch another glorious sunset on the Gregory River. Beautiful.
sweet memories of a town I love, but oh, changed when you left. I keep on asking.
Well, this, I don't know if it gets any better than this. What another awesome day on the Gregory. Finished it off. We've had dinner, we've washed up, we've had a dip, sun setting, little fire going. Don't need a lot, not the heat, it's just the ambience. Now we'll just sit back and enjoy.
The sound of a fucking generator going. Yeah, boy.
Hi guys, another day done on the Gregory River. We are just so enjoying this. But if you enjoy this too, please like and subscribe, because that helps us a little bit as well.